All right, so this is our part 2 for our reindeer. Remember last week we drew out our reindeer, we did our little glitter nose, and we did our little snowy background. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be cutting and gluing and pasting and assembling our reindeer together, and then we're going to add some details on the reindeer. So we will be doing like lights around him. So we're going to be doing that. Now, do you remember I told you to leave this spot down here? We needed this for the antlers. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and we're going to cut that section off. So I need a pretty big size rectangle. Just try to make it as big as you can. You need a rectangle. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you need something about like this. This is how we're going to make his little antlers. All right. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to fold it in half. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We just know that they're symmetrical. So this is just an easy way of just going ahead and making one and making two at the same time. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to have a little folded part here. It doesn't really matter, but go ahead and put your little, because we need two pieces, right? So it doesn't matter if you have little paper confetti. So you're going to come to here, and you're just going to do like this curved line from here to here. You want them as big as you can get them. Okay, so this is the length of your little antlers. And then antlers kind of, I don't know, they're kind of roundy. They kind of have little round, they're very random and roundy. Some go down, some go out. So if you want to kind of take your finger and put around just to show you that they're supposed to be roundy, you can do that. Put your finger. Maybe I want some to go in this direction. That. Alright, and we're doing this with black chalk. I'm going to show you why, because we're going to be smudging this out. Alright. Alright, so you should have something that looks about like this. It doesn't matter. We're going to be smudging all that out. We're going to be doing this with it. It doesn't matter. Alright, so we are going to go ahead and cut this out. Okay. I'm going to pause this. Alright, so when you're done cutting it, you should have something that looks like this. Alright, so now we are going to have to go ahead and create this little look. So we're going to take the chalk and we're going to go ahead and just kind of smudge out the chalk. Okay, you want to add a couple of like a few of these. We're almost giving shadows because it's not perfect, so we're just kind of giving some shadows inside of the little antlers. You want to do that. Now you just need to make sure that they're in the same direction. Okay, so when you do this, just make sure they're in the same direction. So in other words, don't do this. Don't do the chalk on this side on this one, because we want them to be going in the same direction. All right, so this you'll take, put it on its belly, because this one doesn't have chalk at all. So you're going to take and put it on its belly and trace it. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can add those little shadows in there if you want, a few. And you're going to smudge it out. All right. Now we will definitely want to clean our hands before we start cutting and messing with our reindeer. Okay. So you should have something that looks about like this for his little antlers. All right, so then you will need to get a wipe and clean your hands. All right, and then next I'm going to cut out my deer and my nose. And you want to make sure you leave quite a bit of black. You want him to be almost like traced in a really big, thick black marker. So you want to make sure you leave most of that black whenever you cut him out. All right, and I actually snipped off the nose. I just kind of snipped off the nose before I started cutting him, just so that I'm not getting glitter everywhere, and I set that over to the side, and then I cut him out. And if you notice, I don't have a lot of brown around it. I trimmed him up really good. So this is about what he should look like. So I have my little antlers, I have my deer, and I'm going to very carefully cut out my nose. If you're not real careful doing this, you're going to get, all of your little glitter is going to come off. So just make sure you are very, very carefully cutting the nose. And if you don't have much glitter, that's okay. You don't need a whole lot of glitter on the nose anyway, so it's okay. And then look at this. This is all the trash that we had out of that great big piece of paper. You're going to take your trash, you're going to crumple it up, and you're going to go throw it in the trash. All right, and then we are going to assemble him. So we're actually going to put him on our beautiful little background paper. We're going to glue him towards the center, or however his nose doesn't come off. And we are going to flip him over, and remember, we only have to we only have to do a little line of glue around the edges. Remember? We don't have to do the middle, because that's going to stick it. It will grab. That's all the glue I need. Put him here. Make sure he's all on the page, though. You don't want any of it hanging off. Okay. Perfect. Remember, if you want to flip him over, if you want to go ahead and massage, you can do that. Just massage every time you get pieces on. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue that nose. Again, I just need to go around the edge. A little bit of glue. Put that on the tip of his nose. And then his little antlers. Now his little antlers will probably hang off the page, but you do want one, and you might need to cut maybe some off, like behind the ear. I'm going to take my scissors and just kind of cut a couple of these off, just so that it looks a little smaller. And I'm actually going to put one behind the ear, and I'm going to put one up here on his face, and I think I like that. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, not all the way up at the top, because his little antlers are actually going to hang off the page. I'm going to do that. And I'll put a little bit of glue right here on the back here. Because it hangs off, I don't want to add glue up here. Okay, so I only need to put it where the paper ends. Alright, so you should have something that looks about like this. And then we are going to add our little Christmas lights. All right, so you are going to have these really cool fluorescent, glowy oil pastels to make the lights look a little more realistic, like they're glowing. And you're also going to have a Sharpie just to create the wire that the Christmas lights are on. And what we're going to do, depending on where you want these lights, we definitely want a few around the neck. So what you're going to do is you're just going to do almost like S's or backwards S's. And we're just going to do like this on our page. And we don't want that line real thick and dark. We kind of want Sharpies that maybe don't work very well because those wires are really thin. So wherever you want these lights, maybe I want some in the antlers. So I'm just going to do almost like this curvy S, like they're wrapping around. Okay, so maybe I want some there, and maybe I want it to kind of wrap on his head. I can put a few lights there, and maybe I want a few lights here. All right, and then to create that light, all you're going to do is this shape, and you kind of want them to go like I would do every other one. I would do one on the bottom, one on the top, and I'll show you. So to create that light, all you're going to do is a curve. They're real simple. Curve, just like we do those leaves. And if you want to get super fancy with it, those lights almost have like a little tiny point on the end. So if you want to do that and add a little tiny point, you can. You don't have to. And I would use different colors. So I might want to do one on the bottom. Now I'm going to do a curve. I want one on the top. Curve, curve. If you want to get super fancy, put just a little tiny line right there. Maybe I want an orange one. Again, I'm going to put some on the bottom because they kind of, those little Christmas lights, some of them dangle on one side, some of them dangle on the other. So if you want it to look more realistic, you want lights on both sides. Also, if you want it to look more realistic, you also want lights on your background paper to make it look like, do you see how that almost looks like, see, that's actually on my background paper. So if you want it to look realistic, you want to put some on the background paper as well. And you can use all kinds of different colors to do this, all the way down or wherever you want these lights on the reindeer. All right, and then when you're done, you should have something that looks about like this. If you need to add more lights, you just get your Sharpie and wherever you want it, because like I added one right there. And if you notice, look at the ones that I actually added, kind of not too many, but I did do a few on the background paper just to make it look more three-dimensional, like the lights are wrapped around him. All right, and when you are done, you should have something that looks about like this. All right, have fun.